The 2018 Mercedes-Benz GLA. The Mercedes-Benz GLA was launched for the 2014 model year as the company's smallest crossover to date. Sharing the same platform with the A-Class, B-Class, and the CLA 4-door coupe, it's the SUV equivalent of the A-Class hatchback, which is why it's wearing the GLA badge. Designed to compete with the BMW X1 and Audi Q3, which were launched earlier on the market, the GLA slots below the GLC in the lineup. Powered by 4-cylinder engines exclusively, the crossover is available with both gasoline and diesel powerplants in Europe. In the US, however, only a gasoline mill is offered, alongside the beefed-up AMG version. The GLA received its mid-cycle update for the 2018 model year at the 2017 Detroit Auto Show. Not surprisingly, the facelift is rather mild inside and out. Minor nips and tucks do little to change the vehicle's overall appearance, while the cabin boasts new trim, upgraded technology, and some new features. Drivetrain-wise, the GLA carries over unchanged, which is a bit disappointing with a more powerful BMW X1 in showrooms. Of course, crossovers need to check more important boxes, and the GLA does that with the revised model, but will it be enough to give the X1 and Q3 a run for their money? Find out in my review below, and make sure you check out our photos of the Mercedes-Benz GLA from the 2017 Detroit Auto Show. Continue reading to learn more about the 2018 Mercedes GLA. Exterior. The first thing that catches the eye is the new headlamp design, which features a new LED strip that extends from the upper outer corner toward the lower inner extremity. Called LED High Performance, the new headlamps are optional on the GLA 250, replacing the previously available bi-xenon headlamps. Mercedes says that these headlamps are characterized by a color temperature similar to daylight and relieve the strain on the eyes when driving at night. Their energy consumption is also lower, at around 60% less than xenon and 70% less than halogen. The grille is also new, sporting horizontal slats finished in black. This grille is offered on the more expensive trims as standard and optional on the base model, but it's pretty cool and gives the small crossover a more rugged, SUV-like stance. The GLA gains styling cues from the A-Class and elements from larger Mercedes crossovers. More significant changes can be seen in the bumper, starting with the new fog lamps that replaced the previous side grilles. The main intake is also larger, while the lower bumper also seems to have borrowed the more utilitarian cues of the larger Mercedes-Benz crossovers. Moving on to the sides, we can see new wheel designs, while the rear fascia received slightly revised taillights and bumper. A new color, Canyon Beige, was added to the palette. The optional night package adds 19-inch AMG wheels and black window trim, exterior mirrors, roof rails, and exhaust tips, as well as sportier exterior accents. All told, the revised GLA gained styling cues from the car it is based on, the A-Class hatchback, as well as elements from larger crossovers for a more SUV-like appearance. Exterior comparison, new GLA versus old GLA. Competing designs. Launched in 2009, the BMW X1 is the car that started this whole compact luxury crossover trend. As a result, it's the vehicle that Mercedes-Benz used as a benchmark in the GLA's most important competitors. In its second generation since 2015, the X1 Left is fairly new to the market, having been launched for the 2016 model year. Redesigned from the ground up, it gained a sportier, more appealing exterior similar to its bigger siblings, the X3 and X5. Although I'm not a big fan of its styling and proportions, I must admit that the second gen looks way better than the first model, which was arguably the ugliest bimmer on the market between 2009 and 2015. Among the pros compared to the GLA, I would list its seemingly more solid stance, far from being a perched-up hatchback, and the aggressive-looking front end. However, the GLA feels a bit more elegant and looks more dynamic when seen from the sides or the rear. The GLA feels a bit more elegant and looks more dynamic when seen from the sides or the rear. Moving over to the Audi Q3, right, it was also introduced before the GLA. Around since 2011, it received a healthy makeover for the 2017 model year with plenty of new features for each trim. Although the overall design hasn't changed much, the Q3 looks quite fresh and the new black trim sets it apart not only from the larger Q5 and Q7, but also from its German competitors. On the flip side, the Q3 looks a bit chunky and doesn't feel as sporty as the GLA and X1. But if you're looking for a small crossover that goes into hatchback territory, the Audi is the vehicle you need to consider. Note, current Mercedes GLA exterior dimensions listed here. Interior. Much like the exterior, the remained unchanged overall, but gained a few new features here and there. Upgrades include a revised instrument cluster with red dials, a freestanding infotainment display with a bigger, 8-inch screen, as well as new seat covers and trim elements. The GLA also gained chrome control panels, silver chrome highlights for the switches on the electric seat adjustment in the doors, and a chrome frame for the stowage compartment in the center console. The refreshed infotainment system includes Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integration, as well as MirrorLink, and it also displays images from the 360-degree camera, an exclusive feature in this segment. Much like the exterior, the remained unchanged overall, but gained new features here and there. The interior package with standard sports seats remains optionally available, just like on the outgoing model. Hands-free access, another exclusive features in this segment, is available at extra cost. With this device, the trunk can be opened and closed by moving the foot under the rear bumper. The procedure can be completed at any time and any potential obstacles stop the process immediately. Dimensions remains unchanged, meaning buyers will get the same headroom, legroom, and shoulder room. The same goes for trunk capacity, but this isn't exactly good news as the GLA offers significantly less luggage room than its competitors. But more about this in the competition section below. Interior comparison, new GLA versus old GLA. The competition. The Q3 has what it takes to give the GLA and X3 a run for their money. The X1 left comes with a fairly fresh interior for the 2018 model year, but the design that BMW introduced in 2015 is evolutionary and the lines of its predecessor are still obvious. The dashboard layout is clean and simple, with all the features grouped on the wide center stack. Just like the GLA, the base model comes with cloth seats and not that many fancy features, but build quality is good. Going with a more expensive trim will bring you leather on the seats and steering wheel, among other surfaces on the dash, gear shifter, and door panels. A large 8.8-inch infotainment screen is available as an option, as is the 12-speaker Harman Kardon sound system and panoramic moonroof. While the X1's interior layout is closer to that of an SUV, the Q3 right feels more like a hatchback on the inside, mostly thanks to the slanted, more organic design of the dashboard and the more car-oriented configuration of the center console. Overall, the Q3 comes with a mix of high-quality fit and finish, simple design, and elegant features as far as styling goes. When it comes to premium features, the Q3 has what it takes to give the GLA and X3 a run for their money, with plenty of leather and Alcantara options to choose from, as well as aluminum look finish on certain trim levels. Drivetrain. Under the hood, the GLA carries over unchanged and uses the same 4-cylinder engines as before. However, while it was believed that certain units will get power increases and improvements in the fuel economy department, Mercedes decided against it. In Europe, the gasoline lineup includes 3 power plants, starting with 1.6-liter rated at 122 PS and 200 Nm of torque, 120 horses and 148 pound-feet in the base GLA 180. The GLA 200 gets the same unit, but rated at 156 PS and 250 Nm, 154 horsepower and 184 pound-feet, while the GLA 250 comes with a larger, 2.0-liter mill that generated 211 PS and 350 Nm, 208 horses and 258 pound-feet. Under the hood, the GLA carries over unchanged and uses the same 4-cylinder engines as before. Moving over to diesels, there's the GLA 180 CDI with the Renault-sourced 1.5-liter and the GLA 200 CDI and GLA 220 CDI with a 2.1-liter 4-banger. The base model comes with 109 PS and 260 Nm, 108 horsepower and 192 pound-feet on tap, while the other two benefit from 136 PS and 300 Nm, 134 horses and 221 pound-feet, and 170 PS and 350 Nm, 168 horsepower and 258 pound-feet, respectively. In the US, customers will get the same GLA 250 model with 208 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. The same version will also be available with 4MODIC all-wheel drive. Buyers will also have access to the performance-oriented AMG GLA 45 model, which cranks out 375 horsepower thanks to its AMG tweaked 2.0-liter 4-cylinder turbo. This engine also carries over unchanged. The 6-speed manual remains standard on the base models in Europe, while the 7GDCT dual-clutch automatic is optional on most trims and standard on the more expensive cars. The AMG variant continues to use the AMG SpeedShift DCT gearbox. Competing performance. Note: BMW X1 engine pictured here. If you're looking to buy an X1, you have quite a few engine options to consider. Unlike Mercedes-Benz, BMW offers a 3-cylinder engine in the base model. Displacing 1.5 liters, the turbocharged unit pumps out 136 PS and 220 Nm, 134 horses and 162 pound-feet, and delivers outstanding fuel economy. Move up the range and there's a 2.0-liter 4-pot rated at 192 PS and 280 Mn, 189 horses and 207 pound-feet. The range-topping gasoline mill is also a 2.0-liter, but tweaked to send 231 PS and 350 Nm, 228 horsepower and 258 pound-feet, all four wheels. On the diesel front, the base 1.5-liter 3-cylinder comes with 116 PS and 270 Nm, 114 horses and 199 pound-feet on tap, while the 2.0-liter 4-banger can be had in 3 flavors. The least powerful delivers 150 PS and 330 Nm, 148 horsepower and 243 pound-feet, while the mid-range choices is rated at 190 PS and 400 Nm, 187 horses and 295 pound-feet. Finally, the xDrive 25D gets a solid 231 PS and 450 Nm, 228 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque. A hybrid version combining the gasoline 3-cylinder engine with an electric motor is also available. In the US, only the 228 horsepower version of the gasoline model is offered. In the US, the Q3 gets a 2.0-liter gasoline engine with 200 horsepower and 207 pound-feet of twist. Note: Audi Q3 engine pictured here. The Q3 also comes with more drivetrains than the GLA, but unlike the X1, there's no 3-cylinder mill. The range kicks off with a 1.4-liter that generates 150 PS and 250 Nm, 148 horsepower and 184 pound-feet, and continues with a 2.0-liter TFSI rated at either 180 PS and 320 Nm, 178 horsepower and 236 pound-feet, or 220 PS and 350 Nm, 217 horses and 258 pound-feet. Those looking for more power can step up to the RS-Q3, which uses a 2.5-liter 5-cylinder turbo. The Quattro model gets 340 PS and 450 Nm, 335 horsepower and 332 pound-feet, while the performance version cranks out 367 PS and 465 Nm, 362 horses and 343 pound-feet. Diesel options are made exclusively of 2.0-liter 4-cylinder engines, but there are 3 flavors available. First up, there's the entry-level model with 120 PS and 290 Nm, 118 horsepower and 214 pound-feet. Then there's a variant with 150 PS and 340 Nm, 148 horses and 251 pound-feet. Finally, the range-topping oil burners delivers 184 PS and 380 Nm, 181 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. In the US, the Q3 gets a 2.0-liter gasoline engine with 200 horsepower and 207 pound-feet of twist. Prices. Pricing for the GLA-Class should see only a minor increase in all markets. In the US, the GLA 250, which now retails from $32,850, should cost a little more than $33,000. The all-wheel drive version will probably start from around $35,500 compared to the current $34,850 sticker. Moving over to the AMG GLA 45, pricing will probably increase from $49,900 to around $50,400. In Germany, expect the GLA to start from around €28,300, while British customers should be able to purchase one from around £26,000. Competitive prices. Pricing-wise, the GLA's competitors are pretty close. In the US, the X1 S-Drive 28i retails from $33,100, while the all-wheel drive version starts from $35,100. In Germany, the Bimmer fetches €30,800 before options, while in the UK it comes in at £27,850. The Q3, on the other hand, starts from $31,800 in the US, making it the most affordable choice on this side of the pond. For this amount you get the base premium trim. Upgrade to the Premium Plus or Prestige and the sticker jumps to $34,500 or $39,200, respectively. German prices begin from €28,200, while UK pricing starts from £26,600. Other options to consider. Infiniti QX30. The company's smallest crossover yet, the QX30 is pretty much a Q30 hatchback crossover but what's really important here is that it's based on the Mercedes-Benz A-Class, which pretty much makes it a GLA with a different bodywork and interior. Introduced for the 2017 model year, the QX30 resulted from an agreement between Infiniti and Mercedes-Benz, through which Nissan's luxury division gained access not only to the A-Class platform, but its 2.0-liter turbo 4-engine too. The QX30 stands out among its German rivals through its bold, organic design, as well as a well-crafted interior wrapped in Nappa leather. Under the hood, the 2.0-liter four-cylinder engine cranks out 208 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque, which is identical to the GLA 250. In Europe, Infiniti also offers Merc's 2.1-liter diesel engine rated at 170 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of twist. US pricing starts from $34,400, which makes it a bit more expensive than the competition. It's worth noting that while other markets get the hatchback as the Q30 and the crossover as the QX30, in the US both models carry the same badge, with the latter set apart by the AWD moniker. German pricing is set at €39,100, while UK prices begin from £29,790. Learn more about the Infiniti QX30 here. Conclusion. It's not at all surprising that this facelift left the GLA mostly unchanged, but it's a bit disappointing to see that Mercedes didn't upgrade the engines or the suspension. More importantly, it seems that the Germans didn't even bother to fix the noisy diesel drivetrains or do something about the crossover's lifeless handling most customers have been complaining about in the past. Coupled with the fact that the GLA falls behind its competitors when it comes to interior space and trunk capacity, and Merc's high-rolling A-Class isn't very appealing compared to the BMW X1 and Audi Q3. On the flip side, the nice interior and the fancy options make it a classy proposition in this small niche. Love it chunky, SUV-inspired styling, plenty of standard features, powerful engines. Leave it noisy diesel, just one engine in the US.
If you liked this video, please share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.